If this channel is known for anything, it's known for recommending cool and useful under-the-radar iPad apps. And today I've got a brand new batch of amazing apps to share with you on top of a roundup of the best iPad apps of all time, all in one convenient place. So the plan is I'm gonna go through the batch of brand new apps first to get you some fun and fresh new iPad experiences right out of the gate. And then we're gonna get to that main feature, the best iPad apps of all time. A couple quick things before we get started. The mega pack with all of my wallpapers is 90% off right now. So hundreds of files worth of variety for just $5. That's linked in the description. And also I've launched a new channel. It's called Side Unseen, where I interview successful, creative, interesting people. And I'd appreciate your support. Head over there, check out the interviews with Brandon Butch, Jeff Benjamin from 9 to 5 Mac, Stephen Robles, and more. Last but not least, check out my productivity course, Learning to be Productive, which you can get for free when you pre-order my new course, Pro iPhone Video Essentials, linked in the description. All right, so let's get to the batch of brand new apps for you to check out. I can't believe I've never covered this first one before. It's called Priori, and it's an Eisenhower Matrix app that makes it really easy to use the Eisenhower method to organize things into the 4 quadrants. You get task reminders, location reminders, you got an automatic theme for dark mode. I love the simplicity of this. It's super minimal. The little onboarding tour here really shows you what all this does, how it works. You can just swipe to knock things off your list. Probably one of the coolest productivity apps you're ever gonna come across. So you got your important and urgent stuff in the top right corner. You've got important and not urgent in the top left corner, not important and urgent down in the bottom right, and then not important, not urgent down in the bottom left. Of course, this method is something that I go into in detail in my productivity course. So if you already took the course, you might be familiar with this already. It's just that there's never been such a cool app to make use of this before. And it's a really cool interface too. If I wanna add something to the top right quadrant, I drag over from that side and I hit plus. Just give it a title here, there's a test. If I wanna do some location stuff or set a reminder, I can do that. And I can even further flag this with different priority levels there as well. Now, what's really powerful about this is you can have more than one matrix if you want to. This is the work matrix, but if I swipe up, I can have a life matrix as well. There's a reason it's rated 4.7 in the App Store. It costs $2.99. Super recommended. This next app is made for the iPad. You're not gonna get something like this over on the Mac. There was an Apple Design Awards finalist this year. It's called Dudel. And what's cool about it is that it gives your creativity a kick in the pants. It jumpstarts it. So what it does is it gives you some shapes that you then draw on top of. This is such a brilliant idea. It's unlike any other app I've seen. And it's cool because it puts you in that creative mode when you're not necessarily feeling it. I like the presentation. It's time to let your imagination run wild. So every day you get a new unique shape. It's kind of a game. You can rotate the shape around, get a different view of it, and then you ignite your imagination. You draw on the shape. So when you open up the app, there's 2 things you can do. You can do a shape of the day or a random shape. So let's do the shape of the day here today. And I'm just gonna do this on the fly and you're gonna see what I come up with. This looks like a face to me. So I'm gonna get an eyeball going and this looks like a big chin. So let's get a nice smile. This needs to be some hair, I think. And this is actually looking more like a monster or something. I don't know. And actually, I feel like what I'm seeing here could almost be a pant with a shoe. So maybe get some shoelaces, you know, going here. This is like the bottom of the shoe. Now, technically somewhere I've mentioned this next app before, but it deserves to be on this list. It's called Cheatsheet, and basically what it is reminders that you stick on a widget to keep stuff in front of you. Could be a phone number, an address, a passcode, measurements, license plates, could be anything. The idea is you write it once, recall it from anywhere. There's also a phone widget as well, and you can check it out on your Apple Watch, so really universal. And I should mention that it syncs with Siri, so if you wanna do stuff by voice, you can do that. But you just go add cheat, and I'm just gonna type in some random numbers here, like it's a code I need to remember. And then you can see I can come in and add a widget. There's a ton of different options, and what I like is that now that widgets can be interacted with, you can just copy and paste or take action like dial a number right out of that actual widget, which is great. Sometimes it's the simplest apps that can prove to be the most useful, right? And this is one of those that if you're trying to build out the ultimate iPad home screen, this is a must for the widget alone. Now, usually in these videos, I'm really focused on productivity apps, but the next app called Rooms is very unique and it's just fun on the iPad, so I have to feature it here. If you're looking for a kind of a break or just something that's kind of fun to do that's creative, then you definitely want to check this out. Basically, it is what it sounds like. You get a virtual pixel art room that you can turn into anything that you want. And on top of that, you can get up and close and really explore stuff, but you can explore other people's rooms. And that makes it kind of interactive and fun. This was another Apple design finalist. You can see why, because it's just really clever and creative and unique. I mean, this is the intro screen already. The first thing you get to do is push this big red button. My dude plops down into this room here. The cat comes with, and then it's a bit of a game, right? You can move around. There's just some fun stuff to do here in the various rooms. I got a sequencer going on here, so I can make some music. The rooms just never end. There's more stuff to check out than you'll ever have time to. So well worth just kind of taking a break inside of rooms. Now, for you Apple Pencil users out there looking for something else to dig into, let's check out Penjo. It bills itself as a pencil journal, so you get notebooks. You can do some note taking. There's calendar integration, which makes it a little bit different than other journaling apps. Some people are just gonna like the aesthetic, but on top of that, it's got some power under the hood, like advanced search. It'll even search your handwriting. You gotta have that in a notes app these days. Text recognition, iCloud syncing, you can sync it over to the Vision Pro if you want. In the productivity course, we really talked about the power of habit tracking, and this has habit tracking built in, but it's different because it's with your Apple Pencil. And again, widget access really takes things to the next level, and it does have reminders built right in. Really simplistic, has a very different feel than something like Apple Notes, for instance. And yeah, it writes nicely if you're gonna be doing handwriting. One thing that's kind of unique is that you can add in some map cards. So if you wanna like remember or talk about a certain place when you're planning a trip, you can insert that card right into your notes and then mark it up, which is pretty cool, kind of freeform-like. Everyone's obsessed with apps like GoodNotes for good reason, but if you're looking for an alternative, this is probably one of the top recommendations for something that's a little different. The next app I wanna tell you about is all about the widgets as well. It's called Pretty Progress. Don't let the name fool you, because it's not just about good aesthetics. At its heart, it's a countdown widget, and I gotta tell you, there's some amazing widget designs in here. This is not a cheesy, dumb, stupid looking app. You can see there's old school Mac looking widgets in here. And I should mention it's universal, and I like how you can get this on your Apple Watch as well. When you fire it up for the first time, you're gonna see some samples in here. It's gonna tell you the day is 45% done as I'm filming this. The week is gonna end in 2 days and 14 hours. This month is gonna end in 10 hours and 49 minutes. You get the point. Here's how far we are through the year, 58%, wow. But if you tap on new and you give it a name, let's just call it test. We're gonna give it a countdown of a week from now. I'm gonna say done. We're gonna come in and pick some options. We can show the time, or we can show a percent. We can choose the units, you know, days, or maybe you want multiple units. You can do all of that. And then of course you can come in and give it a different look. We're gonna give it a nice teal here, and yeah, I like that yellow. But here's where it gets fun. There's all these different styles that we can swipe through. Look at these retro ones. I love this. There's DOS, there's Windows, there's also old school Mac. And I just gotta say, I love how these look. It really changes up the feel, especially if you're an Apple fan. All right, the next app we're gonna check out also has a widget component. It's basically, again, the main reason that I like it. It's called Thoughts. It's an inspiration manager. It's gonna help you remember the things that inspire you. Another one with a super clean, minimalistic layout. You can make folders, you can change fonts. I'm mostly interested in curating my own collection of thoughts, but if you want, there's a library for you to discover some new ones as well. This is the screen that greets you when you open it up. There's 3 things you can basically do: collect inspirations, grow your library, and review your feed, which just lets you swipe through your inspirations. So we'll just add a few of the samples here so you can see what it's like. Here's what they look like in the app, but again, that's not really why you get this. The main reason you're gonna get this is for the widgets, and those also look very clean and nice as well. And there's a few different styles, and I really like that these are interactive if you want them to be, and you can refresh the different quotes that you see there with that little reload button. Refresh, refresh, refresh. I love how Apple added the interactivity of the widgets, and this one makes good use of that. If you're a Notion user, I got a super simple app recommendation for you that's gonna drive you nuts with how cool it is. It's called Instant Note for Notion, and it's the fastest way to save tagged notes to Notion. I actually feel like it's sort of like the Drafts app, but specifically for Notion. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on it because it is so simple. Type something out, give it a category, give it a tag or 2 or 3, and you're done. The big power up with this one is that you can add a lock screen widget to make things even faster. There is an Instant Notion tags widget included as well. Got another fun, really simple one for you. It's called Do Not Type, and it just lets you dictate notes. There is no typing option. Check out this cool interface. When you open it up, you just hit the plus here, you say allow, and then the next thing you know, you're making notes by not typing. It's using the WhisperSync API. When I hit pause, then it's done, and there we go. That's my note. It's already copied as well. So if I wanna go paste that somewhere else, done. You've got some options. You can include hashtags. There's a thing called expression polish. There's also the ability to have it auto-translate. So if you want to say something in one language and have it auto-translate into another, it's really easy to do that. Very straightforward, very focused app, and I like that you can come back in and play what you just recorded. I would say this is definitely one of the more interesting. The last app I want to share in the first half of this video is called Simply Draw, Learn to Draw. Very rare to see an app that has 4.9 ratings with so many ratings, 28,000 ratings. People love this app, and it's a drawing app. It's going to teach you how to draw, and it's step-by-step instructions that kind of teach you as you go, adapts to your ability, and that's because it gives you personalized feedback. The first time you open it up, there's like a little survey that you go through, and you just kind of tell it how often you draw, what are you interested in, etc. It's actually one of the more obnoxious onboarding processes, but it does give you an idea that the developer really wants you to get something out of this. I mean, if you got an iPad, but you're not an artist, but you want to get better, do some digital art, it's a no-brainer, right? So we're halfway through here. We're gonna get to the greatest iPad apps of all time that have ever been featured, pulling from a huge array of videos and recommendations over the years. A lot of these have been updated and are fresher than ever. But a quick reminder, you can pre-order my new course called Pro iPhone Video Essentials, which will help you shoot professional looking iPhone video like this. This whole video was shot using nothing but an iPhone. And if you pre-order it, you'll also get my Learning to Be Productive course for free instantly. My first pick for one of the best iPad apps of all time comes from my most recent video in this series, and it's called Timestripe. It's a goal manager, and it's super unique. In the productivity course, I mentioned how important it is to have long-term, medium-term, short-term goals, and I've never seen a cooler way to organize those. It has this Timestripe feature, which shows you today, or week, or month, or year, all these great views. So it really gives you a cool overview of what you're doing, not just right now, but in your whole life. So you can create all kinds of different boards here, and I like the boards gallery, which kind of lets you explore inspiring lists and productivity templates that are created by other users. You don't have to just segment things up in terms of today and tomorrow or whatever. You can say something like breakfast, lunch, and afternoon, for instance. And again, it's all about the widgets because you got to keep this stuff in front of your face, and Timestripe makes it so easy, and I like the look as well. They're also interactive. You can hit that plus icon and create something new right there. So I've got a sample item added here, and you can see I've got different sub goals within there, really nice. And then if I go over here, I'll actually get an overview, if this is something that you're gonna use a lot, of all the different basic stats to get your streaks going here, so you don't want to break those. It really is kind of the best take on a Kanban board sort of a system that I've ever seen. The next app I want to talk to you about is called Cubox. You can see I liked it so much, I featured it in the thumbnail for the video that it appeared in, but this is the best reader and highlighting app I've ever come across. We're now living in the AI era. Of course, if you don't have AI baked into something like this, then you're kind of behind the times. So the AI annotation is really cool, and I really like the feature that's ghost highlighting. So it can go through and pick out maybe the best highlights without you even having to do it. As you might expect, you can get some AI insights. You can ask the AI about the documents that you're reading. That's useful. But then one of the coolest things is the review, where you can revisit and learn from the stuff that you highlighted. There's been a number of apps that have tried to do this and do it right over the years. Readwise, I think, was probably the most prominent, but I gotta tell you, I like Cubox better, and it's universal. It'll even show you those highlights on your watch. The next app I want to share with you is Session. It's a focus timer. It came from the most useful iPad apps video ever, but it's a Pomodoro app. So it's gonna help you time your Pomodoro sessions. Again, that's something I covered thoroughly in the productivity course, and it works on all your different devices, as you can see. Even so, it's the iPad experience that I like the best of this app. I really like this design. It's super different. I feel like it's a different take on minimalism. And I really like the data overview. So this really breaks down how you're spending your time, which is cool. But out of the myriad session timers that exist, the thing that really makes it stand apart is that you can supercharge it with shortcuts. For instance, play a custom playlist, turn on Do Not Disturb. You can close apps when the session starts. Next things next, we've got Think Drop. This is a thought capture app. And here's what I like about it. It's a dedicated silo for those interesting thoughts that you have throughout the day that gives you a quick and easy and aesthetic way to get them out of your head, whether you write them or speak them, or even if you snap a picture. But I really like the formatting here because it's not just a simple text box. When you get a thought out and you have an additional thought, you can add that underneath the original thought and sort of create a thought thread. Love the ability to add tags here. That's very cool. And on top of the light and dark mode and iCloud sync, the premium version is also going to give you auto tagging and location snap as well. So this is just a sample recording, so I can show you what it looks like to capture a thought using dictation. Really nice interface. I'm just gonna hit stop there. Thoughts that you've captured appear over on the left-hand side here, which you can hide if you want to. And if I tap on that thread, I get all these great options. Tells me the word count there. I can rate my mood. I can look at the verbs, the nouns, the adjectives. And then of course, I like to point out whenever there's a widget option. So there are some widgets as well. Now, speaking of widgets, this next app is one that I covered originally, specifically for the widget. Although it's come a long way since then. It's called Play. It's for saving video to watch later. And what I really love about it is that it works with so many different sources. You can save YouTube videos here, but not just YouTube videos. And it lets you watch all your videos in the app here. So I come across a bunch of different video on social channels, for instance, like on X, someone will tweet something and then you see a video embedded in there. Well, you can save and organize those videos from embedded social posts right in this app. And the cool thing is you can save videos into the app from anywhere using the share sheet. And there's also a smart search. So if you have a large library, you can go in and have that smart search pull out just specific things for you, kind of like you can do in Apple Notes now with that smart tagging system. I've got some Andy Mineo videos saved in here to demo. I can see the duration. I can add my notes, manage the tags. But again, it's the widgets I love most here because you forget about stuff that you save over time. And this keeps stuff right in front of your face so that whenever you're ready, you can actually jump back in. Very cool, super unique. And so is the next one. It's called Taskheat and it's flowchart to-dos. If that sounds weird, don't worry, I'll explain it. The thing is, it lets you track your to-dos with dependencies. So you get this chart view of what you have to do. So for instance, you gotta take a vacation. Well, what are the things you need to do? You need to book a flight, you need to bring your laptop charger, you need to get it into the travel bag. And so all of these things depend on various tasks getting complete. And this is a super unique way to organize your tasks. So you can connect different nodes. If you've ever used MindNode before, then you're gonna feel at home here. And then there's different views. You don't have to view it in that sort of mind map looking interface. You can just get a really nice focused list here as well. Some of these are like try them out and see how they fit you, because this fits really well for some people. And then for other people, it just might not be their kind of thing. But you gotta say, this is really thinking outside the box. The next app is one called Danger Notes, which I featured quite a long time ago. This video got over 1 million views. Out of all the app recommendation videos I made over the years, this video probably generated the most heated comment section of all, and it was all because of this app. The app is designed to help you defeat writer's block. It's so simple. It doesn't look like it's had many updates over the years, but that's okay. You set a timer, maybe something like 5 minutes, and you have to keep typing. If you stop typing, it's gonna delete all your work. That's why it's called Danger Notes. So if I go in here, I'm just gonna say, hey, it's Chris, and this is me trying out Danger Notes. Oh, but now I don't really know what to say. And I'm thinking it over, well, I better start typing again because if I don't, I'm gonna lose everything. So you really gotta stay on top of things here, and let's just let it expire. There you go, fail. And that's it. Everything that I typed there is now gone. So you can see how this could actually be motivating. Very basic. There is a dark mode and you can change the timer, and that's basically how the app works. This is gonna be one of those apps that you start in, but then you go finish somewhere else. The next app that we're gonna get into is one that I've used off and on over the years. Screens lets you log in to your Mac, do Mac things from your iPad. It's true, Apple actually has a built-in VNC that lets you do the exact same thing, but it's not quite as full featured. This one is a throwback. I've had people say this was so nostalgic to go back and rewatch this one. It has over 2 million views, so a lot of people saw it. That was back in 2020. What I like about Screens is that number one, it's simple, easy, it just works. But beyond that, it has a curtain mode. So it hides your Mac's desktop when you access it from your iPad. At least that's an option that you can turn on. There's a lot of options. So it's more full featured than Apple's built-in thing. And you can lock your data using Face ID. Wow, the next app I wanna talk about is IA Writer. If you do any writing, you might be familiar with this already. This is an app that really morphed over the years. It's changed a lot since I first featured it. Again, we're in the AI era now, and I really like how they've focused on helping you find your voice. So when you copy and paste stuff into this app, it gets dimmed out. And you have this authorship mode that separates your thoughts from internet thoughts or AI thoughts, the stuff that you've just copied and pasted in. And it helps you track those changes and refine things. I'm like everybody else, I'm using AI to do some writing tasks these days, but it's not important writing. It's not thoughtful writing. When you write stuff, that's one of the best ways to think. So I don't like to outsource all of my writing to AI, because then I'm not thinking. When I have to do some serious writing and thinking, I do that in IA Writer. And it still has the best interface of any writing app that I've come across. And I love the addition of the wiki links in here. So it's kind of like Obsidian or Rome Research, where you can link your thinking together. I love the direction that they took here. So it really can be a very powerful note-taking app as well. All right, the last app here is certainly not the least. Back in the day, when I first found this app, it was one of the most exciting apps that I'd ever used on the iPad because it let me show data and keep track of things in a very personalized way. It's called Numerics. It's from Synapse. And they bill it now as a business dashboard, which is a little different than how it used to be, but it's a brilliant way to pull in and display custom data. So back in the day, I would have it auto track my YouTube subscribers and put it on a dashboard here. But you can actually track anything. You can keep track of stuff manually and update it in here, but your sales figures, for instance, fans on different platforms, you're really only limited by your imagination. And even though this is an iPad video, I'll just mention, yeah, there's an Apple Watch app, an iPhone app, it's universal. What I like about it is you can use natural language to record numbers, and it's smart. There's a calculator in here, so it can, figure out totals and targets and analyze your different metrics. But the real power under the hood is not just what you can put in, but all the different plugins. You can just connect so many different platforms and services. There's over 90. And just simple things like Excel all the way to Salesforce or your newsletter app. And it's really powerful, surprisingly so, to be able to see all your different data from all the various aspects of your work or personal life in one awesome dashboard. And maybe the best part, of course, you would know me, is the widgets that you can put on your home screen to keep those numbers in front of your face. I'm glad we're including this one, and I'm glad we're showing it at the end because it really does deserve to be featured, and it's a good way to wrap things up. It's so thoughtful. You even get reminders for notifications when it's time to record stuff so you can stay on top of whatever it is that you need to be inputting. And it syncs everywhere, including the Vision Pro. So it's universal to the extreme. So there we go, we've reached the end. Don't forget to check out the wallpaper pack on sale for 90% off. It's only $5 for hundreds of wallpapers, all my wallpapers. Give me some recommendations. Let's keep this going. If you have an awesome app that's new, if you're a developer, leave a comment and we'll feature it in an upcoming video. Pre-order the new course to get my productivity course for free. Check it out, it's linked up down below. I'll catch you in the next one.